Kyle.
Make sure you go
Oh.
to hometownstation.com for all the latest and greatest Santa Clarita has to offer.
Yeah, I will.
And speaking of the greatest.
Oh, my gosh.
You know her.
This is my bit.
You love her.
You're stealing my bit.
Dr. Jaimie Ronchetto.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about, what do you want to talk about? Dogs, cats?
I want to talk about the heat. Beating the summer heat with pets.
Ooh, we got to talk, you know what's really, like, serious? The pavement.
Oh, that's a thing. Do they
Yeah.
should they wear little booties?
Dr. Jaimie, let's talk hot pavement. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a real problem for sure. It's been so incredibly hot these last few weeks that it becomes very hazardous and dangerous to try to walk your dogs because they will burn their little paw pads.
Can you
the
tell
pavement.
if they're burning? Like, do they walk faster, or do they just power through, and you have no idea whether or not their little feet are getting hot?
Yeah, I've seen all of the above. Pretty much, I've seen them walk really quickly, or if you're, I've seen people out on the sidewalk and they're standing there talking to a friend, and the poor dog's, doing a little dance, trying to lift each little foot up. My own poor dog, just walking from the clinic to my car, that short of a distance, he's a little short-legged corgi, right? And he didn't know what to do, and he just laid down. So I had to pick him up and take him to the car.
He just gave up.
He just gave up. Like, it just hurts, and I don't know what to do. I'm just stopping.
Oh, okay.
Poor guy. So
what do you suggest? I mean, are there little, maybe little Birkenstocks for doggies, or what do we do?
they do make, like, little booties. So some dogs will tolerate booties well, and they have a nice thicker lining so that it's going to protect them from the heat. So you could certainly try that. Other dogs that may not tolerate that, just making sure that you're walking them at cooler times. So I've even been out at, 6 or 7 in the evening, and you can take your, the back of your hand or take your sandal off and test the ground. And if it can be warm, but if it's not too warm where you're feeling uncomfortable on your skin, then it should be okay.
Yeah, I'm concerned because it's with this continually hot weather, it really hasn't gotten a chance overnight to cool down.
Right, that's the difficult part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would you recommend maybe carrying the dog to the usual spots where they, go relieve themselves maybe until this kind of lets up a little bit? Or...
Yeah, if you can, any kind of relief that you can give to them is going to be good. So if you can carry them to grass, then obviously, walking them as much through grass as you can is going to be much easier on them. The grass is nice and cool. Waiting and just doing it in the early morning, like this morning at 7, it was lovely out. So that would probably be fine, or into the evening when things have cooled off a little bit.
Right.
Maybe after the sprinklers have come on and there's, a little bit of runoff, so it kind of cools it down.
Speaking of water, what do you think about pools? I know a lot of big dogs love to jump in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just have fun or if it cools them down. Why do the big dogs love to just jump in the water? What's up with the big dogs?
I mean, I know that there's certain dogs in particular that the breeds are more like water dogs, so it's kind of more instinctual in them to enjoy the water.
Do they enjoy it because it's cool, or just they love water?
I think it's just everything. Like it's fun. They can chase things in the water. They like swimming. Other dogs, it's not as natural to them to just be good swimmers. So especially if you're not sure how your dog is going to be around water, make sure that you introduce it to them slowly. So don't just throw them into the pool. Every dog can doggy paddle, so to speak, but not every dog is a good swimmer. Some are more panicky than others, and that's not efficient swimming. They're going to get tired really fast and get into trouble.
What about the chemicals in a pool? Is that hazardous to dogs in any way? The chlorine and the chemicals?
I mean, I think nowadays most of the things that we use for the pool are going to be fine. The other types of cleaning systems that are non-chlorine based, I think, are a bit better. It's easier on our skin, so it's easier on their skin. But if there's any question or if you feel like your dog is sensitive, I would just kind of hose them down once they're done, hose them down, get the pool water off, and then dry them off.
Let's talk doggy treats. The ice cream doggy treats. Have you seen these
Yeah.
in their frozen treats? I see them in any of the supermarket, Vons, Ralph's. I've seen them in the frozen section with the ice cream.
Yeah.
But they're specially made for dogs. What do you think of those? Do they like them? Are they good for dogs? What do you think?
I'm not super familiar with them. I have seen them, but I haven't really looked at the ingredients or anything like that. I do have some clients whose dogs absolutely adore them. I think like anything else, any other treat, you'd have to really just use it in moderation. You know, it is a treat. It's not an everyday thing.
See, there you go again. Dr. Jaimie, you ruin everything. Treats.
I know, I'm no fun.
Man.
No fun at all. But, you know, in the heat, just as a once in a while type of treat, I think it would be fine. You know, read the ingredients for yourself if it seems like it's something that your dog would be fine with. Some dogs do have food sensitivities, so we need to be careful with that.
I've heard, and I want you to confirm this because it was on social media, so I
Okay.
don't know if it's true, that putting ice in your doggy water is not good.
You know, I've heard this too. The only thing that I've ever seen happen is sometimes if the water's too cold, it will make them throw up. That's the only bad thing that I've seen happen. It's not like it's necessarily going to cool them off too fast and be dangerous. If we're talking about overheating in your pets and the worry of heat stroke or anything else, it's, you know, you would want to use, you know, tepid or cool like towels over them and like wet them down. So in that scenario, using ice and things like that can sometimes cause them to cool too fast and become dangerous. But just a little bit of ice in their water bowl probably isn't going to hurt anything.
Do they know the difference between, I mean, do they care that the water is cool or warm? Or like, I don't mean warm, but, you know, room temperature. Does it matter to them when they're thirsty? Do they have a preference, do you suppose?
I guess it probably depends on the dog. You know, I think, in my opinion, I think that's why some dogs go to drink out of the toilet bowl, you know, because it's cooler water. It stays colder. But really, if they're thirsty, they're going to drink no matter what. So, you know, if your water bowl is outside, obviously you're going to want to be checking that often to make sure it's not getting too hot.
And closing out with today's interview, never, never, never. I'm going to take the lead on this.
Okay.
Never, ever, ever. How many evers can I add to this? Leave the dog in a car without supervision.
Oh my goodness. Yes, please don't. Just leave them home in this heat.
Right?
They don't need to be with you everywhere.
They don't.
No.
And I know people love their animals and they need to take them everywhere where they go on their errands. But in this kind of heat, it can be so dangerous leaving, a pet in a car. And I've seen some too, again, on social media, where they leave the car running with the air conditioner going. Still very dangerous. What if the dog, accidentally moves the gear shift or something,
Right.
running around in the car? So leave them home, yes?
Just leave them home. They're going to be happy at home. It's where they feel safe. They're comfortable, and you know that they're not going to get into trouble.
Exactly. Dr. Jaimie, always a pleasure. Where can someone riding around right now, I know they're saying, I want Dr. Jaimie as my vet. She's awesome. Where do we call you? How do we get you?
Give us a call at 661-253-9300. You can find us on at www.cinemavet.com.
Cinemavet.com. Oh, I'm losing my voice. Cinemavet.com. Dr. Jaimie, always a pleasure. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Sounds great.